Man, I have gone through quite a journey of self-love in the past 6 years. I really hated myself. I had a horrible relationship with myself. I would always beat myself up about everything, just mentally tearing myself apart. I just thought I needed to be fixed. I wished I was different. I had no confidence in myself. I had no self-care. I didn't even take good care of myself. And I would people please so much because I felt like I needed this person's validation to make me feel good about myself, boost my self-esteem. I had no self-esteem, you know? And through these past 6 years of learning, I credit a lot to what I've learned from Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Alan Watts, Sadhguru. Just those are just some things that have helped me a lot. But I'm so happy because I was able to to now having a super healthy relationship with myself. Actually being confident. I feel free to just be myself when talking to someone and not having to constantly change myself because I need someone to think I'm good enough to feel better about myself. Like, I have actual self-esteem now and I have actual self-love. I take good care of myself now. I'm happy with myself for who I am. And I love myself. But I want to be careful about this phrase, I love myself. Because a lot of us, we hear that, and this used to be me. I would hear that phrase, I love myself. I'm like, oh, that's ego. You're being, you love yourself. You have a big ego. You're narcissistic, right? But self-love is not ego. See, this wasn't about loving myself more than other people. I love everyone equally, including myself. It's just that now I no longer view myself as inferior. I no longer view myself as less than everyone else. I don't view myself better than anyone else either, though. It's just now everyone's up here. I used to think I was down here. Now I realize, oh no, we're all here. We're all right here. We're all great. All right. So I'm going to share 5 tips that have helped me tremendously in this past 6 years. And it's like 6 years pushed down into 5 things. Hopefully you can do it a lot faster than me. But nonetheless, here's what I've learned. The first thing is realizing that this idea of I'm not good enough, this low self-esteem, this lack of self-love, it was installed into our brains. This wasn't what we were naturally born with. This was a mindset that was put into us. So it was very, very key for me to ask myself, why? Why do I have low self-esteem? Why don't I love myself? Why don't I feel good enough? And for me, I was able to realize a trauma that happened. And it's okay if we don't remember all of our traumas. I'll get to that in a second. But for me, I was born, you can barely see a little bit of eczema right there, but because it's mostly gone away now, but I was born with horrible, horrible eczema throughout my entire childhood, all the way up until high school. It was covering the majority of my body, bloody, scratching, scabs, skin everywhere. My peers thought it was gross, and I felt rejected, and at a young age, I'm in kindergarten and people don't want to be my friend because of that, right? So right there, I learned there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough because I didn't get that validation at a young age. So then I started misbehaving to make the whole class laugh because that was my way of getting validation. And then I would get in trouble with the teachers, and the teachers would tell me that I'm a bad kid. They'd say, you're a bad kid. So the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm showing that I was not born with low self-esteem. I was taught to have low self-esteem by the way my peers treated me and by the way my teachers treated me. And it was so key for me to realize that this was installed into my brain and that I wasn't born with it. The reason that was so key for me to realize is because it made me realize, hey, this actually isn't real. It's not that I'm not good enough. It's that I was just taught to think that. That's not real. A kid doesn't come out of the womb thinking, I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me. No, kids automatically just feel good. It's that we were taught something, all right? So just realizing that in of itself, that means there is hope, okay? There is hope to start loving yourself. There's hope to have better self-esteem. There's hope to become confident, because that is your natural state as a human being. We just have to unlearn the bull that we were taught, all right? And that takes me to number 2, which is realize your nature. Realize your nature as a human being. And here's what I mean. Nature, all of nature, is good enough. You see this tree? Is this tree shaped wrong? Are there any trees that are shaped wrong? Are there any clouds that are the wrong shade of gray? Are there any flowers that have petals growing in the wrong direction? Is there anything wrong with the galaxies and the stars? Is any of that poorly made? Of course not. There's no jungles that are bad. There are no deserts that are bad. Everything in nature was created perfectly. Guess what? We forget this a lot as humans. We forget that we are just as much nature as a tree is. This tree is no more nature than I am and that you are. We are all nature, okay? So in the same way that there are no poorly shaped trees, there are no trees with branches in the wrong direction, in the same way that there are no poorly shaped trees, there are no poorly shaped people. You were made perfectly because you are a piece of creation, you are a piece of nature, and that is perfect. So now we know logically, okay, yes, I am good enough, but that doesn't necessarily give us good self-esteem. It's like I know this, but I don't necessarily feel it yet. How do we actually, it's good to know, it's good to have this knowledge, right? But now how do we actually feel good enough? And these next 3 things that I'm gonna share are practical things we can do to start feeling good enough, to raise our self-esteem, to have self-love, to start being confident, finally, okay? That brings me to number 3, which is stop trying to fix yourself, okay? Stop trying to fix yourself. Now, here's what I mean. A lot of us, when we do quote-unquote healthy things that are good for us, let's be productive, or let's go to the gym and work out, or let's eat healthy. All of these things are good things, but they're not good if we're doing it for the wrong reasons. A lot of us are going to the gym because we think we need to be fixed. I'm not good enough the way I am, so I must go to the gym and fix myself. I must become more confident to fix myself. This whole video, the reason to watch this video isn't because you're not good enough, and if I watch this video, then maybe I'll become confident and then I'll be good enough. No, that ruins the whole process of becoming good enough, because think about it like this. If something needs to be cleaned, it implies that it's dirty. If something needs to be fixed, it implies that it is broken. If you think you need to fix yourself, you are constantly going to feel bad about yourself. This was the case for me. For years, I was trying to self-improvement. I need to make myself better, fix myself. All I was doing was telling myself, you're not good enough. You're broken. You need to be better. You need to be fixed. So you may ask, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Just lay on the couch and be like, all right, I accept myself the way I am, and never take care of yourself. Am I saying that? Of course not. What I'm saying is we need to change our source of motivation. If we're working out because I need to fix myself, that is self-hate. I hate myself, I need to make myself better. Instead, let's flip that. The reason to work out is because I love myself. This is good for my body. I'm taking care of myself. Think about it like when you're watering a plant. The reason to water a plant isn't because this plant isn't good enough. I need to fix this plant by watering it. No, we water the plant because we're giving love to the plant. That's it. That's working out, that's eating healthy, that's taking care of our mind, meditating, learning how to be more confident. It's giving love to ourselves. You change the source of motivation, and now I am currently in my life doing all of the things that I used to do for self-improvement, except now I love myself, and I'm not doing it because I hate myself. All right, I'm doing it because I love myself. And number 4 is a really, really important one. Forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. Let's pay attention to the relationship we have to with ourselves. When we make a mistake, do we start beating ourselves up? Do we say, "Why would you do that, you idiot?" Or do we say, "Hey, you know what? It's part of life. We make mistakes. It's part of just being a human. You're not going to do everything perfectly for the rest of your life. If you did everything perfectly for the rest of your life, that would be a boring life." Part of the beauty, one of the most beautiful things in life is that we make mistakes. Because that is what allows us to grow. It's like our growth, our experience, our journey of growth in life is fucking up, making mistakes, and then learning how to grow through it. You know? So now when we make mistakes or we don't do something perfectly, instead of shaming ourselves for it, let's forgive ourselves and say, "Hey, that's just a natural part of life. It's good that we make mistakes. Now let's pick ourselves back up and say, we're going to keep going. It's okay that you made that mistake. And we're going to keep going. We're going to keep trying. We're not going to quit." You know? That alone has made me so much more productive, because I used to just lay in my bed saying, "Oh, I should be up doing this. I should be working on this." But I would just beat myself up and be like, "Look at me. You're in bed doing this. You should be out there." And the more I beat myself up about it, the more I'm keeping myself stuck in bed. I'm pushing myself down. I'm beating myself down. But instead, when I say, "Hey, it's okay. You know what, Travis? You kind of took a misstep. We've been laying in bed for a while. It's okay. This happens sometimes, but I support you. It's all right. Let's get up and just get a drink of water. Let's start there." And I just start uplifting myself instead of pushing myself down. You know, that not only has increased my self-love and self-esteem, but it's increased my productivity. And number 5 is, let's check in with ourselves more. Let's ask ourselves this question. What do I need at this moment? What do I really need in this moment? Oh, I need to meditate for a couple minutes. My mind's all over the place. Oh, I haven't drank much water today. Oh, I actually just need a rest. I've been doing shit all day long. I need to give myself a little break. When we check in with ourselves, we are teaching ourselves that we love ourselves. If you love your friend, would you ignore them? Never ask how they're doing? No, if you love your friend, you're going to check in with them, like, "How you doing?" So when you do that to yourself, how are you doing right now? Are you okay? Are you happy? How are you feeling? We check in with ourselves. When we do that, we are teaching ourselves, "Oh, I actually do love myself. Here's proof. The fact that I'm checking in with myself right now, that's actually proof that I love myself." So it's one of the most beautiful acts of self-love we can do. So I do want to throw in a little bonus number 6. And it's telling ourselves this right here. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to take up space. I remember there was a time when I was walking into a gym and there's a bunch of big jack dudes, and I'm not that big and jacked. And I felt a little nervous, oh no, I don't want to get in their way. I don't want to be a disturbance to the big jack dudes at the gym. I'm like, bro, you are allowed to take up space. All right? A huge thing with self-esteem and self-love is we walk into the room like this. We don't want to disturb anyone. I don't want people not to like me. I'm just going to try to shrink myself. No. You are a valid human being. Like I was saying before, it's not everyone's here and you're down here. Everyone's here. Everyone is a valid human being. So are you. And you're allowed to step into a space and just be, you know? A good way to really help yourself be comfortable in that is, let's Let's think about this like yoga. You ever going into a deep stretch in yoga? What do you do when you're going into this uncomfortable stress? We breathe into it. We relax into it, right? You're not forcing your way into the stretch with yoga. No, you relax and breathe into it. We can apply this mindset to anything that makes us uncomfortable, not just a stretch making us uncomfortable, anything that makes us uncomfortable in life. We can apply that mindset to it and start to become comfortable doing that thing. So when we step into that room, a bunch of people we don't know, let's take a moment, stand there, and just breathe. Breathe deep into your stomach. Relax into it. Pretend like you're doing yoga. I'm just relaxing into this, right? You could also put like your attention into your hands, into your feet. These are like the parts of your body that like keep you grounded, right? Breathe deep into your belly. Feel your feet on the floor, feel your hands, feel yourself taking up this space, and say, I am allowed to take up space. All right? Because we love ourselves. We don't love ourselves more than other people. We love everyone equally. But we now don't see ourselves as inferior. We are seeing ourselves on that equal playing field. Everyone's good enough. You're good enough. I promise you that. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if this stuff works, if this was of value to you. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And also the comments, if you want to like support the channel, that really boosts me up in the algorithm. It helps push the video out. And so does a like and a subscribe. So if you like the video, go ahead and like it. But I appreciate your presence and the fact that you care about anything I have to say. And thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and start loving yourself. When you start loving yourself, you put yourself in a position to love the world better, because now you feel good enough and you can help others feel good enough. All right? Peace.